To health news now, a growing form of therapy is called IV therapy. That's where nutrients are sent directly into the bloodstream. Research shows this type of therapy will grow by about 8% by 2030. Melinda Howe, nurse practitioner at Ascend Wellness, says IV infusion doses can have nutritional components such as vitamins, minerals, and amino acids to help with a range of medical needs. Howe says it's become a more common healthcare practice around the United States in the last few years.
If you were going to drink electrolytes or things like that, then you run into some gut issues sometimes, or gut absorption issues where this goes directly to your bloodstream, and the absorption is much quicker.
Howe says the use of this practice is popular among athletes after running a marathon. She says some treatments require lab testing, but not all.